In this video, we're going over the top 5 duos that will win you games in Valorant. Carrying bad teammates can be hard, but combining your impact with the right duo agent can be insane. So we're going to break down the top 5 right now. But let me know down below, what is your least favorite type of player that you get in your games? Let me know why, and let's get into it. Now, the first duo that we have in this video is going to be called the Mind Game Menaces. And this is Yoru plus Omen. And this type of duo is a nightmare for the enemy team to deal with. If y'all are on the same page and really good together, it can be really hard for the enemy to know what is going on at all. When you have Omens not only blinding, but smoking and teleporting into their smoke, Yorus that can utilize the Omen smoke and pop flash out of it, not to mention teleport around the map in addition to the Omen comboing. And these characters are both really good at lurking as well. When you combine these characters together and they're on the same page, they can just feel terrible to play against, where you never know what to expect. And these are the things that you need to make sure when you're rocking this duo. Number one, you should try to make sure that your timing is in cohesion. Even if you're not hitting the same site on attack, even if one of you is lurking, apply pressure at the same time and make sure that you're conscious of what each other is doing. If an Omen pushes up and lurks at the same time and someone rotates, that can be the exact time that a Yoru pushes out on a different point. And being able to add pressure at the same time in different places on these characters can be a really good way to just completely stun the enemy, and they often get mistimed even though you are setting up that mistiming. In addition to that, I want to make sure that you are actively trying to make plays with each other, even if y'all are isolated. Let's say your team all wants to run on Ascent. Y'all can be the two that go through Garage, smoke it off, pop flash it through, send a decoy. Y'all can utilize your utility in order to actually enable each other. And because of all the utility combined, the flashes together and the ability to teleport in and take this space, you can really apply a ton of pressure. Even just as a duo, you can provide a ton of pressure for your team. And in addition to that, because Omen gets to smoke for his team, even if he's not playing with them, he can still do his primary job. And these characters together are just really good at applying that crazy amount of pressure. But mastering characters like Yoru and Omen can be hard, but it's super simple with SkillCapped. We got Radiant level agent guides over every single agent, breaking down the decision making, positioning, and everything you need to do in your games to dominate. With our private Discord coaching, you can get specific help on your mistakes and things that you can do directly to improve your rank. So what are you waiting for? Check it out right now in the links down below. The next duo that we got to talk about is the free kill combo. And this is Fade plus Raze. And this is a really simple combo because you're combining primarily two abilities, Fade sees and Raze's paint shells. Especially when we're talking about ranked, people just like to rush sites, they like to play consistently in the same spots, and there's very little discipline, especially the lower in rank you go. And that means that this combo gets stronger and stronger because trapping people with C's and then paint shelling them is going to get you free kills, allow you to combo off and just get value based on your abilities alone. And it can be really strong on points like bind defense, where not only can you stop rushes, but you can also utilize your information to destroy enemies from across the map utilizing the teleporter. And I do think that this combo is super deadly just as a dual ability combo, but it doesn't stop there with these agents. One of the things that's so strong is just combining any initiator with a duelist that takes aggressive space. Being able to combine I with double blast pack to take space on point can be super strong, because as they're going up to shoot the eye, the Raze flies in, or the Raze is getting information about exactly where they are and can make a really strong play onto them. These characters provide a crazy amount of pressure together, and they're going to be consistently applying that pressure throughout the entire course of the game, forcing people to play around the combo and forcing people to just play around the good strategy that is an initiator enabling a duelist. I think that this duo can be incredibly deadly, really strong just as a proactive strategy in ranked, which honestly gives you a ton of value just playing something that is objectively powerful and takes the initiative. And all in all, I think this is a fantastic duo to play with a buddy. Speaking of which, if you have no friends like me, you can always find a buddy to play with in the SkillCapped Discord. Links will be down below. Now, the next move that we got to talk about in this video is Sova plus Viper, and I'm calling this the My Sight Now, because this combo is super strong, and I want to make it clear right away that you can't play this on every map. You really want to play this on a Viper-centric map, but on the maps that Viper's good in, being able to split a sight and then use Sova to gather information on the other side of the wall is just insane value. Any enemy that doesn't respect the wall, tries to make a play around the wall, use your wall to try to play it against you, maybe they're waiting on the other side of the wall to pop flash or use utility. The second they get tagged by the dart, they're just dead. You just get to kill them for free. And in addition to this, Viper plus Sova gets to have crazy lineups to do a post-plant denial. And I really do think that the combination of information preventing and information gathering is just insane together. And really, this duo is going to require both the Viper and the Sova to be very competent on these characters, so it's going to be hard to just pick up this duo and play it out of nowhere. You're going to really want to have someone that is committed to grinding Sova and committed to grinding Viper, but I do think overall this just brings so much stability to any composition. In addition to that, neither of y'all are playing duelists, so you're more likely to have a good composition just because you're playing these characters, because duelists are always insta-locked, and I do think that you're just going to win a lot of games just because your team is going to have the better composition than the enemy. But there's another duo that I think is the building block for just the most powerful composition you can play in general, and it's the Skye plus Jett, which I'm just going to call meta aggression, because these two characters are basically the building blocks for the meta right now because of how strong they are. A character that can gather information, clear corners, and enable a duelist to take site control, aka Skye, combined with the character that can aggressively take site control, aka Jett. These characters are like a match made in heaven, and they're super strong when they're on the same page. You need to make sure, though, that you're practicing the Skye Flash going in, popping it in time for the Jett to not get blinded, but still blinding the people that you want to blind. So typically, you're going to want to fly the bird out, and then you're going to want to make sure to turn it around corners, or depending on the geometry, the Jett could dash into a place that is not necessarily going to get blind, or you could even do something like Jett dashes into their own smoke, you Skye Flash out, and then it's going to blind people, and then the Jett pops out of the flash. This could be really good on like Ascent if you did a cloud burst on top of the box, you updraft, dashed up into it, and then you're sitting on top of there inside your smoke, and then your Skye flashes, blinds anyone on site. You peek out, you get to kill them for free. It's super strong, it's streamlined, and something that I do suggest you practice in a server. I know that doing server work is not the most flashy thing, but I promise you, all you gotta do is practice some set executes on a lot of the different maps, and you will just be insanely good at it. It doesn't take very long when you have infinite ability use, and you just get to keep practicing it over and over and over again. Then you go into a game, you just practice for like, I don't know, 30 minutes, and all of a sudden, you're a god at doing this every single time. You're consistent, you're reliable, and every single time you play attack, you're going to be proactive. You're going to have a game plan. You're never going to be just like waiting around in default for way too long in ranked, which is causing you to lose way too many games. And you're going to just take the initiative, and you're just going to stomp teams like crazy. Super powerful of a duo. And then I would also suggest a lot of the time on defense, if you're not setting up something like an op or just playing slow, every once in a while, I want you to provide some sort of mix-up where you take aggressive space on defense, utilizing your abilities with Skye and Jett, whether that's a close peak angle, whether that's some type of combination play with a dash, with your cloudburst plus flashing. There's a lot of things that you can do to keep your opponents on their toes while still getting a ton of value, so I would highly suggest this duo, but make sure you're willing to put in the work to perfect your engages, because sloppy engages might as well just completely break down the synergy between these characters, and you're just gonna get even less than normal value. Now, the last duo that I want to talk about is the duo that is for those of you who just really want to present the strongest amount of pressure and force and proactive plan, and you're just like, if you don't learn how to deal with this, opponents, we're just going to beat you. And this is Breach plus Neon. I call it taking the initiative. And this is just the combo that is the most proactive you could possibly be. You're literally presenting, here's a stun, here's a flash, and here's a neon, and they're all up in your face. figure out how to deal with it. Figure out how to deal with this duo. And it's so strong because not only do you always put the opponents on the back foot, but you can always mix up the sites that you're executing, how you're taking space, and you're just setting up so many unfair engagements for your Neon. Now, I will say you're going to need someone that is pretty competent at Breach and fairly competent with the movement text on Neon and your timing and engagement. But if you have those two things, this duo could just go crazy. The Breach is going to be able to enable the Neon like no other character. And while I don't necessarily think you could play this on every map, you can play it on a lot more maps than they do in pro play, simply because this composition, this duo, is just so strong that it doesn't matter about meta or tier list or anything like that. In ranked play, you're going to be able to always put your opponents on the back foot, always just play very, very aggressive in places where they wouldn't expect. And I even think that this is good on maps that you wouldn't even traditionally see these characters. Maps like Ascent, for instance, you can just create all these mix-ups on defense, taking aggressive space, denying the enemy team, and punishing them for playing up close, taking orbs aggressively, and just kind of funneling that Neon ultimate or that Breach ultimate over and over and over again, allowing you to just have some crazy executes with Breach's ultimate, Neon's ultimate for eco. And I really do think that this combo is the most deadly and the most scary. If you have two people that just hard grind this duo, hard practice it, it can be just a freaking nightmare to deal with. Where unless the opponents play in a very particular way, or they just happen to be characters that are good up against this type of aggression, it can be really, really hard for them to figure out a game plan. And if they all just kind of change their play style to just deny you, all you have to do is just slow down a little bit as a duo. Realize that if the opponents are playing super slow and super scared because they're afraid of y'all just bursting out of nowhere, you're getting a crazy amount of value. And if you play more orthodox, you're just going to win the game because they're playing way too slow. They're not executing. They're giving your team way more time to rotate. And I do think that overall, this is a really, really strong duo. But definitely let me know what duo you think is the best in the comments down below. And check out the SkillCapped website for top tier guides over every single agent. If you want to quickly master exactly how to play each of these characters with ease, check out the SkillCapped website right now in the links down below.